YouTube, what is up? What is up? My name is Matt, and I'm here to take you through my tutorial on my two absolute favorite Excel functions, index and match. I use these two by far the most out of any Excel functions, and I'm excited to show you. Let's get it going. First, let's get started with index. So, index, the syntax of it. So, syntax is this gray box that pops up below every function you will use in Excel, function starting with the equal sign. So, index, first you type in the array. So the array is the range of where you want to look. And then you have row number, how many rows to go down. Rows are numbers. And then you have columns, column number, how many columns to go across. And columns go like this. So, for example, this would be our array. This would be how many rows to go down, and this would be how many columns to go across. So, for example, the location of this cell in this array is 1, 1. One row down, one row across. For example, this is 2, 4. So, 2 rows down, 4 columns across. All right? Next, match. So, match basically tells you how many rows or columns your desired value is within that range. So, if we pull up the syntax, so you have a value that you're going to look up, you have where you want to look for it, and then your match type. So if we do that here, match, I want you to find where Sally is, comma, and then one thing that's nice about the Excel syntax is that it'll bold whatever part of the function you're on. So I want you to look for Sally right here, comma, and I typically only use exact match. I haven't come across a situation where I would use less than or greater than. So 0, you have to close the function with parentheses, and the syntax goes away. That means that you are done with that function. 2, because Sally is 2 rows down. Let's do that for Phil. That's my lookup value. Look for it here. 0, close it. Perfect, he's the 5th one. Match, look for Monday. Look for it right here. Exact match, close it out. 1, first value, perfect. Match, lookup value. Look for it right here. Exact match, close it, enter. Thursday is the 4th day. So, we have a function that has a range to look at, and you need the number of rows to go down and the number of columns to go across, and match spits back a number value. So we're going to put it all together now. So when you put it all together, it will tell you the value of what cell to look for. So index, start the function with the open parenthesis, array, where should I look? Right here, comma, how many rows to go down? So, match, what am I going to look for? Joe, where to look for Joe? Right here. Exact match, close it out, comma. And notice how the syntax is still there, so it still means that I'm inputting something into a function. But now I'm on how many columns to go across. Match. Look for Monday, comma, look up array, right here. Exact match, close it out, and see how I went from the match syntax, because it still showed up, close it out, but then it brings me back to the index. So one more parenthesis to close it out, and everything is done, and I hit enter. So let's see, on Monday, Joe's RPE, for example, is a 6. Perfect. Now let's see what it was on Thursday. It was a 10. Perfect. Now on Thursday, let's see what Mike's was. A 6. Mike, Thursday 6. So we have index, array, and then instead of manually typing in how many rows to go down, we use match to find that number for us. So right here, I have our work spreadsheet or our work cells to calculate everything for us. I have our data entry for RPEs and our data entry for time. So I have this already set up to calculate load by multiplying RPE times time for every day for every athlete. And I already have a weekly total right here. So now let's make our formula. And this one formula will be able to find everyone's RPE. So index, array, where should I look for RPEs? Right here, comma. Now how many rows to go down? Remember, we're looking for how the number of rows, and match will spit back a number. Match. What should I look up? His name, where? Right there. Exact match. Close it out. So I just closed out match, but I'm still on index. Comma. How many columns? Match. I want you to find the date. Comma. Look for it right here. Exact match. Close out match. Close out index. Perfect. Syntax is gone. Enter. Mike on Wednesday was a 9. Now, one key thing is if I copy and paste, everything is shifted one cell to the right. And if I copy and paste it down, everything is shifted one cell down and to the right, as you can see right here. So what we have to do is what's called absolute references. So basically, it's just the money signs. So F4 will automatically money sign absolute reference whatever cell value you're on. So the money signs mean that it will not move no matter when you move the formula. So right now I'm on the array. If I money sign absolute reference, the first and last cell of the array, this will not move no matter where my formula moves. So now this is the most important part. So for the name, I always want it to stay in column B, but I want it to move rows down for each athlete. So what I do is F4, F4, and F4. So the money sign, the absolute reference, is in front of the columns B, so it'll always stay, the lookup value will always stay in column B, But there's no money sign in front of the 5, which means that if I move this formula down, it'll move down with the formula itself. But where I'm looking for names, I want that to stay the exact same no matter what. So that's going to get a double money sign, double money sign. Now, with the date, I want it to move columns, but I want it to stay in row 3 the whole time. So F4, F4. No money sign, no absolute reference in front of the C means it'll move left and right, but money sign in front of the 3 means it will not move up and down. Perfect. Now where the lookup array for date, I want that to stay the same. So that's going to get an F4, F4. And in general, whenever you hit F4, it'll go to just the row, just the column, back to the beginning, and then double again. Enter. So now I can take this formula, and dragging the bottom right is the same thing as copying and pasting. I'm just going to make it really pretty really quick. So we see that the date moved, the name stayed the same, but all of this stayed the same as well. So now what we can do is copy and paste 1 week's worth to Sally. So the date is where it should be, but the name moved down and all of this stayed the same. So now let's copy and paste this for every athlete. Perfect, we have our RPEs. Now let's find time. Equals index. Look for it right here, comma. Now, this array is only one row tall. So there's only one row worth of data. So we're always going to want the first row because it can't go down any farther. So just a 1, comma, match. So how many columns to go across? Look for the date. Look for it right here. And I want an exact match, closeout match, closeout index, and it's gone, which means my formula is finished. Enter. Now, same thing, we have to go back and do our absolute references. So the array of the index, so this one right here, I want double money signs for the first and last cell. Now for the date, remember, we want the columns to move, but not the rows. So that's why there's only the money sign, the absolute reference, in front of the 3. Now where I'm looking for the date, right here, I want to stay the same. F4, F4. Now I can drag this across, make it pretty, and copy and paste for every athlete. So you see that right here we have calculated load for every day, for every athlete, summed up for a weekly total load right here. Now one very important thing to note is that your array must line up with your lookup array. So just how match spits back, for example, a 2 for Thursday, if this is shifted 1 over, Thursday becomes 1 because it's the first value in this array. Does that make sense? So if you're looking for Thursday in this lookup array, it'll spit back a 1, but the first column in the index array is Wednesday. So that's one thing just to help you troubleshoot your formulas. Same thing right here. You would want the name array to line up with your index array right here. So that is my tutorial on using index and match. So there you have it, my cell tutorial on my top 2 favorite cell functions, index and match. So as you can see, both those functions are rather simple in nature, but the finer details and kind of troubleshooting where stuff might go wrong is where it gets kind of complicated. Don't forget your absolute references. So how I use index and match, as you can see, is where I have my data entry in one spot where I paste the data, and I want it to appear somewhere else. And then wherever somewhere else may be, that's where you can use that data in a more organized format to calculate and do whatever else you need that data to do. So if you'd like to see more advanced applications of how I use index and match, please comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.